influence your dating? Like, was the thing to like meet a girl and then be like, here's my number, like call me? I don't have you don't have a cell phone, so they just gotta catch you at the crib. Like, how does that work?
It's called. You had to be clever.
Ah.
Yeah, you had to learn. You had to learn bus schedules, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but phone call. Hey, chief, and back home, if somebody didn't like it, if a girl didn't like you, they would give you the number, but it would be the number to the bus company, to the MTA bus company.
Absolutely.
So I must have gotten that a couple of times because I still remember the number.
What's the number?
410-539-5000. That was MTA bus. I said, man, there's a lot of girls living in that place. Cause every third girl would give you the number to the MTA. No, but it was a lot of phone conversation. You had to have game. You had to have game. You had to have some good lines.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
And do you remember this, Pastor C and Thin Bad? All right, you're talking to the one at the time, years and years ago, and you're on the phone. It's like 11 o'clock, and there's total silence on the phone. And then about 10 minutes later, you remember this is the high school move. Then 10 minutes later, what you doing? Mm-hmm. Like, what do you think she was doing? She's sitting on the other line, listening to the silence like you. You know what I mean? But that was the move back in the day.
On the phone, or you fall asleep. You didn't want to hang up. You didn't want to hang up. You go to bed. No, you go to bed. Next thing you know.
Exactly. Well, I was usually sneaking on the phone. I was sneaking on the phone, and our phone in the kitchen was mounted right by my grandmother's bedroom door, so that long telephone cord I would take into my room. I'd take it in my room and I'll hide under the covers and try to talk as Quiet Storm played on the radio. So,
I remember the long telephone cord. It was about 30 foot long.
I had one.
Yep, and then you would drag it all through. You drag it all through the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we didn't have any of that. We had no pages. Well, eventually we got to the point where we had pages, but they didn't have. Then they had what was that? 3-way calling. That gets you in trouble back in the day. But when people would call, you wouldn't want to find out if they liked you, so you'd have a friend call. Say, do you like him? I like you. And you know what was going on. It was crazy.
Now, Ambezi.
Yes.
So now, what is the hip thing to do now if you meet that guy or that girl?
Well, see, okay, that's why I was going to insert myself because I think that when we come back from the break, I think a good discussion would be to get into like the various apps and websites or whatever. But just to, put my own little story out there, I'm not married or near married or want to be married because I'm 20 fun. But
how old is that?
20 fun?
Yeah.
It's 21, but it's 20 fun.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I learn something every day.
Because I'm living 20 fun.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. We have a caller. Holla at the caller.
Caller, you're on the air. Okay, I guess our call doesn't want to be heard. Try one more time, Ambezi.
Caller? Are you on the line?
Well, I tell you what we'll do. We'll when we get back from break, we'll make sure that we get the caller together.
They're calling. God, answer.
All right, go ahead.
Caller, you are on the line. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I was just about to. It's funny you mentioned apps and dating apps and whatnot, because I was just about to mention dating apps.
Oh, what's so?
And Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. So pick your poison. Like, what do you want to bring to the combo?
I think the funny part is, so when I was in high school, the norm was, having we had the landlines, but the biggest thing was having your own line. And if you had your own line, that was cool to have. And that's when also pagers were starting to come around. Two-ways weren't quite there, and this is in the late 90s, mid to late 90s. So two-ways weren't around till I'd say the early 2000s. But if you had your own line, you were cool. And then it started, communication started to evolve to a pager. But nowadays, the dating scene is so sophisticated. Of course, you can go online and look at an eHarmony or a Christian Mingle or a Match, but it's so sophisticated now to where there's even an app called Tinder, and with Tinder, you can just swipe who you like. You download it on your phone.
Wait a minute.
Who is this?
It's called Tinder.
No. Who is the caller?
This is Ashley from Texas.
Hey, so Ashley, how you know? How do you know about Tinder?
Because I have
I don't even like the sound of that name.
I don't even like the sound.
Tinder, that's just a little too familiar for me.
Are you swiping?
Is it Tinder or Tinder? What is it?
That have Tinder. So, I asked one of my relatives, what's Tinder? And my relative goes,
I couldn't hear it. Right. I'm not familiar with this. I'm stepping out the game for 20 years.
Going through different guys, and you can either say yes or no to whether or not you're interested in the guy.
Right.
So you're literally swiping through hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pictures, and you can just click yes or no. Yes or no.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
as soon as you click yes or no, it goes to the next one. And
Tinder.
if it's yes, then you start communicating with that person. So it's pretty interesting to see how the technology and even the dating scene or courting has evolved.
Definitely. I agree.
So, again, Ashley, it's called Tinder.
Tinder. T-I-N.
Tinder.
T-I-E-R.
Or T-E-N-D-A-H. Tinder.
There's another.
You Bobby Brown sounding.
I think it's a dating site too, but it's called Zeus.
Zeus?
I think that's what it's called, but it does Zeus. But
Zeus.
it does the same thing. You can swipe through pictures and click yes or no. And if you hit no, it automatically swipes to the next one. And
Interesting.
that the individual is, who has their picture and whatnot in there, there's information about that person in there in terms of where they're located, what
I have
their
a question,
username
Ashley.
is.
Ashley, I'm sorry, and I know we're about to go on break, but this is something that my colleagues can kind of ponder as well. Are those apps and dating sites safe? Are they safe to be upon and even pursue someone through the internet? How safe are they? And I'm sure that we'll probably tackle that.
Oh, yes.
When
I have
we
a lot
return.
to say.
Okay.
I'm going to be in on that issue.
Yeah,
Do I have to call back?
Probably will, because I want to
After the
know about
break.
you swiping. It seems as if you are familiar with Tinder.
So how about this? How about I'm gonna give a quick intro to this swipe right environment,
Okay.
and then we'll go into the break. And during the break or after the break, once we get into it, we will call you back, Miss Ashley, and put you back in the conversation. Sound good?
Okay, cool.
Thanks for calling, Miss Ashley.
Thanks, Miss
Thank
Ashley.
you. We'll see you after the break.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, so let me break this down a little bit because, that's why we need the millennial here so you guys can, understand.
Whatever.
So, that's actually where I was going. So, you guys told your wives' tales, literally, not a pun. But, I am dating somebody, and...
What?
Yeah. And I actually, funny story, I actually met him through Tinder.
What?
Yeah, I did.
Oh,
It's
Lord.
a funny world.
pass the
Because here's
C?
the thing about...
Pass
Okay,
the
so
C?
here's what you have to understand about Tinder.
Pass the C.
Yes, sir.
Some furniture's getting ready to move up in here.
So you met him on Tinder.
Let me explain to you what Tinder is for our generation versus you guys' generation.
Okay.
So, for you guys' generation, I think that people go on Tinder strictly as a dating app. They swipe through the pictures, and that's exactly how it works. So, you log onto the app, a person's picture comes up, and you swipe left if you don't like them, and you swipe right if you do like them, just based off the picture. And you can tap in and like see their little bio, see where they're from, what they have to say. But initially, you can just swipe left or right based on looks. So after that, you then have the option to talk to that person through chat, and then it kind of like picks up from there. So, but with college students, they now have Tinder U, which is actually kind of another form of social media. It's you can like find friends on there. If you're trying to talk to somebody, you can find that on there. Honestly, it's just kind of like up to you at that point. But as far as if it's safe, the funniest part about Tinder, and I feel like after I say this, y'all are gonna try to go on Tinder and be creeps. It's people around here. So it's people that are local to you. So, for example, when I went on Tinder, I saw old classmates and their dating profiles. I saw all kinds of stuff. So, when it comes to, like, the safety of it, it's really on you to kind of take those steps. Because all Tinder allows you to do is chat them. So, what I did when I met my boyfriend, I don't even like Tinder. I don't really use it. I used it that one time because me and my friend were kind of like trying to get into some party. But anyways, I don't like using the site. I like to know who the person is. So I gave my boyfriend my Snapchat. So we just went from one social media to the other because I wanted to see if he was a catfish. And on Snapchat, you're snapping your life away. You snap, oh, I'm gonna go here. Oh, this is my homeboy. This is my roommate. So I'm like, okay, is he a catfish? So we had each other's Snapchats, and then on Snapchat, that's when we started kind of like talking to each other and started dating. But back to the point I was gonna make initially. We live in a Tinder culture. Like, even if people aren't using Tinder, it's the same principle. Everybody that you want to potentially date, if you don't have the balls to talk to them in person, they're at your fingertips.
The what?
The what?
Oh,
Please don't say
the
that.
Cojones.
I just can't take that.
The cojones.
Don't say Tinder and balls.
At the same time.
I'm done, Pastor C. I got.
Like,
Lord,
honestly,
Jesus,
though,
Pastor,
if you don't have the nerve,
Pastor,
if you
I'm
don't
sorry,
have the nerve
please.
to talk to
And
somebody
Beezy.
in
Pastor,
person,
please
And
don't
Beezy,
then you
do
can
I'm
have
sorry.
them on your
Lord have mercy.
fingertips.
You started
I can't
off with
take it.
catfish. That was the first problem.
And Tinder.
And
Lord have Jesus, Pastor, Jesus.
Okay.
But that's the point.
I think we need a break.
you
I
need
think
a
we
break.
need a break.
I'm just saying. So listen, after the break, we'll pick up on this so I can, explain, clarify some things. So let's go to the break.
You're listening to Straight No Chaser. We'll be right back.
DWI, even at first, it's pretty harsh. You don't realize,
Up to 90 days in jail.
Can't be there for my family.
I'm in here. They're out there.
They put an ignition interlock in your car for 1 year.
Car won't start unless you blow into it.
It's embarrassing.
You gotta pay fees, get a lawyer.
Need to see my probation officer for testing all the time.
Have to pick up garbage.
It literally consumes your life.
I lost my family's trust.
Lost my job.
I lost my marriage.
I lost my kids.
Lost a lot of time, A DWI is just a big waste of time.
I just remembered it's election day. Are you going to vote?
I don't know. I don't think I'll have time today.
Millions of eligible voters in America never make it to the polls or even register to vote.